How's it going? Damian Gray here. Today we are going to be talking about the lessons that I learned from hosting my first workshop in this workshop series. Now, for those of you that are just tuning in, my name is Damian. I own Film Story, video production and education company, and we're pivoting, really focusing on the education aspect of it, while we are also pursuing impact-driven businesses and creating content for their businesses. I started a workshop series last month where I wanted to, I've been receiving coaching, like I'm taking on business coaching, and I have gotten much more clear on the things that I'm wanting to pursue. And in that, I started a workshop series where I really wanted to just get some momentum going in what's possible. And so this workshop was all about how to improve and create a great space for the interview, preparing the talent for the interview, getting them ready for it, going through the interview process, asking questions, like the whole nine. And it was a great workshop. I enjoyed the process, but I also learned a lot. And I want to take this video, I want to use this video to clarify and just really get my own thoughts in order. All right, so number one, going in order of how the workshop went. The first thing that I recognized that I wanted to do differently and I want to learn and build space for is I wanted to start different. I wanted to hear from the audience first. Now, that's probably kind of common in a lot of different, workshop environments, and I normally do something like that first. But I think with this time, I was rushing, trying to get there on time, trying to get the equipment set up, trying to get things going. I was just behind on that day because of the morning and et cetera, et cetera. And I didn't have time to just take a second, breathe, and really hear from the attendees or the attendant, really. And I wish I really had that, because I don't want this to be some cookie cutter video production. Here's the setup, here's the equipment, here's how you find out what the questions are. Like, I really want to help the person that's behind the camera, along with helping them go through this process in a meaningful way. So I would firstly start different, and I'd go right into hearing from the audience and ask them questions like, how does your interview prep normally go for this kind of thing? How do you go about getting clear on the questions that you would ask the talent when you're interviewing them? How do you prepare them for getting in front of a camera and putting a mic on? What's your process and just getting them calibrated and used to that setting? What kind of setting do you build for them to feel comfortable on site? How do you prepare them for the questions, or get your story calibrated to their responses? Like, these are things that I should have asked first, and then go into, okay, here's an option, here's what we do, here's why we do, and really kind of meet people where they are instead of just kind of going right into the content. I think that's something I really wish I did differently, and definitely something I've done before, sort of, but this helps a lot in just getting clear in it. Number two, the second thing I would do that I recognize, and this is kind of an overarching thought, is I would split this workshop into two workshops. So initially, like I said, the point of this was to help create and have an amazing interview process for your talent. Like, that was the point of the workshop. But I'm recognizing that preparing your talent for the interview and producing the interview and preparing the production and producing and executing that interview are two completely separate, different things. And I thought I was going to be able to do both in a couple hours. Not the case. I need to spend an entire workshop in just preparing the talent for the interview and getting those questions internal for the talent. And really giving the attendees an opportunity to do the same, because they have to, honestly, the best way for me and for the attendees to really get clear and calibrated on the questions that they need to ask is to put them in the environment, and, long story short, give them the opportunity to be in the shoes of the talent. Not just on the back end and saying, hey, we're going to ask you these questions, but what does it actually feel like to be in that seat when you're trying to share this story, you're trying to share your heart, but you're trying to make sure you do it in a meaningful way, but you're not spending 20, 30 minutes on one question. Like, they need to feel that and then be able to say, okay, if we're trying to get this answer or this context, then how do we build and develop questioning that helps align to that? Because otherwise it's really going to be a third party trying to teach another party. And we want kind of intimate, meaningful, productive questions, right, that get to the point and to really share the heart of the business leader, whoever they are. So I would split the workshops, one that focuses on that, and then one that focuses on the production side of it. You know, the audio, lighting, cameras. Why do we have two different audio options? Why are we filming at this angle and not this angle? How do we set up the lighting? How do we make sure that we're hearing it correctly? How do we frame up our interviews? How to position them in front of the camera? Where does the person sit that's asking the questions? All these things, like, that needs its own space and time. And so that's what I would definitely, have a separate interview for. So I would split the workshops into two different things, okay? Third thing I would do is, when we're talking about preparing the talent for the interviews and really getting calibrated on the questions that we would ask the talent, I would almost, in that kind of setting, give each person a role to play. Person A, you're going to be the person that's giving the interview. Person B, you're going to be the small business coffee shop that is being interviewed, and give them the opportunity to figure out the questions they need to ask through the process that we go through in the workshop, and then give them the business, the faux business, the opportunity to just give initial responses. And the hope of this isn't to make one feel silly, but it's, again, to give them an opportunity to go through the process a little bit and feel it. And when you're implementing the template that we have, now you're getting as close to a real world experience as you can get, but it's secure. There's not a lot of stress on the line. You're getting to walk through this, and then we swap. We give each other the opportunity to do that. So I think that would be really cool, and that would kind of just remove the veil on like what this actually is and give them an opportunity for it. Fourth thing I would do when we're talking about the production side of it and preparing the production, that kind of a thing, I would split everything into sections. So we're going to talk about audio. We talk about audio. We're going to talk about video. We're going to talk about video. We're going to talk about camera setup. We're going to talk about lighting. We're going to talk about positioning and framing. We're going to talk about interviewer positioning. We're going to talk about setting up in a room, what to look for, like having it into sections, because for me, that just helps me stay on track with everything. I found myself jumping around a little bit more than I wanted to, and it felt like I had to like go back and forth. And what I recognize going through this stuff is very nuanced. Like, one little thing that you forget could cost some serious issues. You forget to press record on the camera. You forget to press record on the microphone recorder. You forget to, move a camera slightly this way and the interview seems off position. Like, there's a lot of different little nuances. And so if I have things into sections, it'd be a lot easier for me to just go through it and make sure I have everything covered. Lastly, I don't remember when we're on 5. I would let my attendees know that one of them will be interviewing an actual business owner on site at the workshop. So we had the opportunity to do this, and Daniel did an amazing job going through it after we had a little bit of the session and figuring out the questions to ask and getting calibrated to that and learning how to do that, going through the interview process. But I never let him know that he was going to actually interview the business owner for the location that we were at. And he told me that afterwards, and I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't even think about that. So I would let the attendees know, what we're doing as far as interviewing the actual business. So these are things that I've learned on my workshop, my first workshop going through this process. We got another one coming next month, or this month coming up, and I'm excited for it. We're going to take some of this, we're going to implement it. We're probably going to start with the first workshop as its own thing, where we're talking about splitting the workshop. We're going to talk about specifically getting the talent calibrated to the process and getting their story and getting the questions figured out and identifying how to make that as meaningful and as authentic as possible. And we're going to focus on that, right? And I think that's worth doing. All right, so that's everything. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know as we move forward in this. I would love to hear your thoughts, love your feedback. I'd love to hear your feedback. And as always, if you have any other questions, let me know. Thanks.